All right, folks, this is the second part of what I think is going to be a 3 or 4 part series looking at two growth factors. One is the effect of weight on the trays, and in our first video we covered that our tray here being covered by another tray of growing microgreens is weighing about 6 pounds. And then our other tray that we've got sewed here has the concrete block on there, and it's the weight there is about 14.5 pounds. So it's been a few days, and the reason I wanted to shoot a video now, even though I'm going to actually uncover these tomorrow and sort of give the first results, is to give people a sense of when is it okay to uncover a crop. Or in other words, how long is enough time in germination? Now, my general rule I try to follow is I watch for the top tray to start shifting. So right now, this top tray, it's still perfectly aligned with the bottom tray. But I know by morning it's going to shift a little bit. And that's going to be my key or my indicator that things are pretty much ready to uncover. That said, if the option is to uncover it a little late or uncover it a little early, say there's a scheduling conflict or something, I will almost always uncover a tray early. And this is pretty universal across all crops. And so at this stage, what I can see is, I can see the stems, I can see the leaf, the cotyledons are up high and they're starting to push the tray up, and I can see that they've raised the tray. So that means there is some stem growth and that the roots are in the soil and they're anchored in fairly well. So this to me tells me I can uncover now if I need to. And this has happened in cases where, usually we would uncover on a Monday morning, but for some reason we're not going to be able to get into the site until late morning or early afternoon. So we do the uncovering on the Sunday evening instead. So it's really, and with some crops you can go from perfect to way too late overnight. And so you'll get a better sense of what's going to work for your system with more experience. The other factor is temperature. Now my place is pretty cool. I do have heating pads under here, but growth isn't super fast. So I think I have no issue leaving this, and I have no schedule limitations right now. So this is going to get officially uncovered tomorrow. But this is a good look at what it looks like when it's at its first point of being ready to uncover. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift the camera over so you can get a good side-by-side here and see the difference, which is noticeable in terms of the height of the two crops so far. I'll try to do this gracefully. Okay. That's not too bad. You could use a little more light in there. Let's see what I can do here. See if this helps or makes it worse. Maybe a little more there. So, okay. So this here is our tray with the 6 pounds, and this here is our tray with the 14.5 pounds. Now this one is already a little higher, but what you're looking for is the difference in height here. So the space here versus the space here. So as a sample, I can fit my finger under here quite easily in all different points. Here, I cannot. So I can see that this tray is being pushed up further. Now, in many ways, this makes sense. This is intuitive. This tray is lighter, so it's easier to lift up. Now, the question here is going to be, what is going to be the ultimate effect on germination? And what is going to be the effect on overall growth? And what's going to be the effect on our overall yield? I don't want to give it away, actually. Well, I have a sense of what's going to happen, so I'll uncover these tomorrow night. We'll do another video tomorrow night. We'll take a look at these. We'll watch how the growth proceeds over the few days after that, and I will try to do a time lapse and then share that in my final video so we can see, because there are some patterns that I've noticed over the years. We'll see if they hold true in this situation. And then when it comes to harvest time of these two, I will harvest them separately. I'll do a very methodical harvest, and then I'll do the weights of them as well. So we'll get a sense of looking at them, which one we think has a higher yield, and then look at which one actually does have a higher yield. And to be honest, I'm going to expect them to be pretty close to the same, but we may find there is a bit of a difference that we can try and analyze. And another thing to consider is, is we just have a we only have one of each. And so if I was doing a real trial here, I'd have like 5 or 6 covered with a block, and 5 or 6 like this. I'd have multiples. I would do each tray individually. I would take an average of all the trays and look at the individuals, so we could see over many trays if we're seeing a pattern. One tray here and one tray there. Well, already this, as an example, this one's close to a wall here, and this one's more out front. This one here is actually getting a bit of probably direct light on the one side. So there's factors that would already make one tray potentially produce more than the other. So that's why we want replication. But we're looking at not just the overall yield, but what growth looks like throughout the cycle. And so we'll get to see what these look like tomorrow when we uncover them. And we'll get to see also what kind of, if we're seeing any differences in germination rate on there as well. And then tomorrow, when I uncover these, as I talked about before, I'm going to rotate the trays so they're both facing this way. And in the back here, I have a low K value light, which is more on the yellow spectrum. And on the front here, I have a high K value light, which you can see is quite a cool light, which is high in the blue spectrum. And so if you know how light affects different bits of different growth, we'll start to see a difference there in our growing. So hopefully that plays out how I think it's going to play out. But one of the reasons I like to do this stuff live is because the analysis in real time is often quite it's real-time analysis, and so I have an idea of what's going to happen, and I'm pretty sure I know what's going to happen. But if you've watched some of my live videos before, sometimes things don't always go as planned. So yeah, that's the coverage today. Tomorrow I'll probably look at doing a video around the same time, maybe a little later, between 7:30 and 8 Pacific time. So I'll try and get it queued up and scheduled, so if you want to tune in then. But as you know, these videos stay on YouTube, so you can watch them at any time. So hope that's valuable insight into a preliminary stage of uncovering here with different weights, and we'll cover this stuff in more detail on tomorrow's video.